Hey everybody, Slick Phoenix here, coming at you again with another video, and this time I am going over my new Advent calculator. What's going to be happening here in the next Advent that comes up, which is about, I think 2-3 or so events away. They're going to be coming with a new shop with new exchange rates for items and new items. So I need to go and update all my tables and my formulas to include that. So that is what I'm sharing with you today, is this new sheet, how to use it, what it all means, etc. So a little history on this sheet. Advents used to stay open in the shop for many months, and you used to be able to just blow all of your HEs if you could do ultimate, and one ultimate run would usually give you enough materials to exchange for 2 half elixirs, and we'd be able to exchange 2 half elixirs a day for as long as the shop was open. And it would stay open for months, as I said, so you could blow all of your HEs, half elixirs, I'm so used to saying HEs, into the event, and then just spend months getting half elixirs in exchange, and eventually turn every elixir that you put into the event into 2 later on. So then as we went along events, we could stack up events. We'd go through a few events, you'd have 3, 4, 5 events that you were pulling this 2 a day from. So that would be 6, 8, 10 half elixirs a day, and that's how some people have 1,000, 2,000 half elixirs now. So they just dumped everything they could into those events and reaped the rewards. Well, last year, later in the year, they put a stop to that. They limited HEs to only 20 in the shop, or the ones that they did have 2 half elixirs a day, they only limited it to 1 or 2 months available, so you'd only get 30 or 60 days of exchange. So it wasn't as good anymore. So I wanted to find a way to conserve my half elixirs, use as little as possible, because normally I would go into an Advent, I'd just start blowing through half elixirs, getting what I could, get all the stuff from the store, and it wasn't all necessary. So now I really needed to save half elixirs, so I figured, how can I go about doing that? I created this sheet that calculated runs and all that, so that I could then say, alright, I'm going to need this many HEs for the event, half elixirs. I can use 8 a day, or 6 a day, or 10 a day, whatever, and I could just go about the event leisurely. I didn't have to just go crazy. And I could get other stuff done. So that's how this sheet came about. That's the history of it. So when you first get to this front page, this is the quick view, just some quick items. I have here a suggestion to download the sheet. Let me go over here to my other page. This is my other Chrome profiles, Google profiles. If you just come right here into the sheet, when you get into it, up here next to the name, you got this little button here, add to my drive. It will download a copy to your drive. Or file, add to my drive. It'll do the same thing. I really suggest you do this. If you use Excel or some other spreadsheet program, again, download to Excel, open document, whatever you need to download it as. So that's what I suggest you do. Save it to your own drive. I would say save a copy, and then whenever you need to use it, make a copy of that copy to use for it. So then you always have a main file that's intact and you can mess around with. If I make updates, you can then re-download mine. If you need to contact me, my Union Discord, you can also find me on both Kamehameha unofficial Discords, the Kamehameha English Wiki Discord, as well as various unions. This is my Kamehameha ID. You can message me there if you really want. What else? I think that's about it as far as this goes. Oh, up here, open comments thread. You can make comments there as well. You can make comments on the YouTube. If you find errors or whatnot, reach out to me. Alright, so let's go over this. I want to try to make these instructions quick and easy. So this front page, these quick inputs, this is where you input your materials that you've collected. This is in order as you see them on your screen from left to right. Bronze 1, bronze 2, silver and gold materials. Again, as they appear left to right, input them there. I highly suggest you input your half elixirs as you use them for the event. If you do like a gem quest or something like that, or enhanced material quests when they come up each day, and you use half elixirs for that, don't input those half elixirs here because you didn't use them on the event. You use them for that gem quest. So anyways, you input those here so then you can later compare to the number total estimated needed. That's how much it is going to estimate that you need for the entire event, either here or here. You can then compare to see how you did if you came in and lower than or if you used more. The rest of the sheet, so this is just this actually pulls from my analysis page down here, and this is just quick stats so you can quickly see where you're at and what you have left to do. This right here tells you how many materials you have left remaining in your primary goal, again how many you have left in your secondary goal, and how many runs you have left to do to get that, and then how many half elixirs you need in total, you needed to do in total, which is why you can compare this at the end. And this is how many, as of right now, in this moment, you have left to use to the end of the event. It takes into consideration AP regeneration and all that. That's why these say 0. Alright, next page, input page. This is where you're going to put most of your inputs in. You'll notice that anything that you need to input, I put in these light reds, as well as these light greens just for this table. This is where you put in the items that you want to exchange for. You set your primary, secondary goals. Again, SSR Eidolon, that's always been there, but they've added a second SSR weapon, which does not increase in cost. It just, all 4 are the same cost. And you just have a drop down to select how many this one you'll select how many you've already exchanged for, like this. If you get a platinum drop of something, you'll mark it from right to left, because if you get a platinum drop, then you only need to exchange for the first 4, not the 5th one. So that's why each platinum drop that you get one, you just mark them right to left, and as you exchange for them in the shop, left to right. Let's see what else. Here you mark primary, secondary, and then if you don't want it as a goal, you mark it blank with that little guy. Second SR, there's only 2 SR weapons. They got rid of the 3rd. Soul points, they increased to 600 that you can get now total. So yeah, that's a big increase. And we also know that they're going to be useful in the future, that you can use them to upgrade your souls. Silver books, they increased that to a total of 10. So silver and gold books both are increased to 10. This Raid Kamehame ticket is a ticket that allows you to pull from a specific pool. And this pool is the free SR Kamehames from previous raid events. So if you maybe came on recently, or you came on after a few of the raid events, you know, like Jormungandr, Sandalphone, etc., you'll have a chance to get those free SRs from that ticket. And then they also added magic jewels. You can get 3,000 in the exchange, so all that's in there. Other various inputs, estimated materials per run. This is set for Ultimate right now, so if you're running Ultimates, don't mess with this unless you really want to mess with decimals. This is more like 2.5 than 2. I just decided to round down. It actually makes the HE calculation run high, and I tend to use less HEs than what it estimates, which to me is a good psychological feeling. I feel like I've accomplished it in fewer runs and wasted less HEs than I needed to. So if you want to change it in your own copy, go right ahead. Difficulties, again, this is just the 4 different difficulties. I don't have Ragnarok on there because you can only do one Ragnarok run per day, so it doesn't really matter. And it's free anyways, so whichever one. If you run one of the different ones, I don't have the averages for that, so you'd have to input your own averages on material drops. If you do calculate the averages and have the data put together, feel free to drop those to me. I can change these so that as you adjust this, these change to that difficulty average. AP cost version, typically when we run dual advents, they're at a discount. 30 AP ultimate versus the standard, which is S, which would be 40 APs cost. From what I understand, going forward, they're going to be 30 from now on, but you have that option to change back if they ever go back to 40. Time. Alright, so here's something we need to talk about real quick on time. As far as the sheet goes, please do not mess with the regional settings. File, spreadsheet settings, I just want to show you where they are. United States Pacific Time, this is the game server time. Don't mess with that, because then as you adjust your sheet, you can input the times as they show on the banners. This is US time, so month, day, year, and then the 24-hour time. So you can input those times exactly as they are here, and all the calculations run. Somebody messed with that on my previous version of this sheet, changed it to Germany, and it screwed up everything, all my formulas and whatnot. I had to revert to an old version and redo a bunch of stuff that I had already done. It wasn't pretty. So I put that warning there, which is all this stuff right here. If you download it, it'll most likely read from your system time settings, which means you will have to make that correction for the difference in your time zone. So you'll have to calculate from game server time to your time and make that conversion and input that, because it'll be reading, this now function will be reading off your system time. Sleep hours, how many hours average you sleep, what your current total AP is. So that's all that. Again, just those few inputs that everything else calculates. This is new, additional AP usage, so if you do stuff like the caves, if you do a couple of those a day, or if you do all 3 of your accessory quest runs, you can input them here, and they will mess with the how many of these you can get, which will of course affect the HE calculations. So again, I can show 0, 0, now you're only using 50 from that, and that went up to 13, and those numbers went up as well. So however you want to do that, you probably don't want to mess with these, because if you're doing Gem Quest and Enhanced Materials Quest, you're most likely using HEs on those, and you just don't need to count those towards the event, because again, those aren't being used on the event, they're being used on those specific quests. Disaster raids, catastrophe raids, they're all in there. Alright, I know I'm speaking a little fast because I'm trying to get through this thing quickly so that you don't get too bored. I tried this once before, it was 24 freaking minutes. You don't want to listen to me for 24 minutes. Analysis page. This is nothing that you need to mess with. This is the analysis of all the numbers that you input. Input as much as you can, because that will give you better calculations. Again, this overview analysis looks at the entire event from start to finish, from the very beginning, nothing in the middle, just beginning to end. How many materials that you can collect with AP regeneration, how much you need for your primary goal. Tells you what your difference is. If this number is negative, that means you need extras, and it's going to tell you how many runs and how many HEs that you're going to need to do for the whole event. If it's positive, that means AP regeneration is enough to get you what you need. Down here we see that here, difference from goal, negative, so now we need to do 98 additional runs on top of AP regeneration, which is 54 half elixirs. These two sections over here is looking at in the middle of the event, as you're 2, 3, 4, 5 days into it, what it looks like from that point on, how many materials you have remaining, how many battles you have left to get those materials, and then after you get those materials, how many materials are you going to have left over. Let's see here, the forecasting. This looks at where you're at, how many materials you can gather with the rest of AP regeneration, what your difference is from your goal to how much you gathered. Again, in this case, you can do it with AP regeneration. Down here you can't, so negative, so you need additional. So from this point forward, you need 86 additional runs, which is 47 half elixirs. That is how that calculates. This next tab, these are my material cost tables. This is all the materials, or what their costs are. Don't mess with this if you're able to. If you go to my sheet, you shouldn't be able to. If you download it to your own drive, I think it strips away some of that, and you would be able to edit these. If you have to edit it, if you find any errors, please send a comment to me either here, through Discord, on the YouTube channel, however you contact me. Let me know so I can make a change on the master. But if you have to make a change, those 4 columns right there, those are the ones where the actual change. Everything else is formulas that works with the inputs and such. Last page is instructions. You're watching this, you obviously don't need these instructions, but for anyone that finds it some other way, instructions on how to use. I also put instructions and what each section is doing, and then if you just hover over these things with the little black corners, they got drop downs that kind of tell you the logic behind it and what's going on. So that is my new Advent calculator. Again, I have found it very useful and helpful in my runs. I can do my Advents at a more leisurely pace. I can complete all that I want to do, and I don't have to go crazy and nuts and all that fun stuff. So I hope you find this useful. If you have any comments for me, if you have any things that need updates, reach out to me, let me know so I can update it, or please share it with other people. And yeah, hope you guys all have fun with it, enjoy it, have happy hunting, and I'll see you out in the battlefield. Take care.